The next thing we're going to do is make the topping. We have 2 pies, so we need 2 batches of topping. Many ethnic groups used a topping as opposed to a pastry crust. I find it simple, easy, and tasty. Now, for each pie, what we're going to need, and I'm going to my recipes on this. Believe me, I can no longer do this from memory. In fact, I never could. 2 cups of pastry flour, a half cup of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt, and 1/3 cup of butter. So we're doubling that. The use of pastry flour is essential. Do not use all-purpose or general-purpose flour. All-purpose flour serves no purpose. You want a pastry flour that is basically a soft wheat, very low in gluten. The lower it is in gluten, the flakier your crust will be, and that's vitally important. You don't want it coagulating like bread. This is the opposite of bread. You want something light and flaky, whether it's a crust or even in your cakes. So my flour is a soft Pennsylvania wheat from Reading, though there are a number of mills in the state of Pennsylvania that still grind up pastry flour. It's unbleached, and it works very well in pies, cakes, and cookies. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the 4 cups that we need of pastry flour, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to check my recipe again for the sugar. We need 1 cup of sugar. I like to store my flours and sugars in these, basically these are lard cans, 5-gallon lard cans. Keeps the rodents and insects out of them. Let's see, 1 teaspoon of salt. See, on this wet day, we have some coagulation problems here. Now let's try it. There we go. 1 teaspoon of salt and 2/3 cup of butter. Let me find the little things on here. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. 1/3 cup and 1/3 cup. Now your butter can be firm. This certainly is firm butter today. What we're going to do is we're going to put our hands into it. We're going to break up the butter. We're going to mix everything together. This is, again, that tactile experience of baking for which there is definitely no substitute. We want to basically rip apart the cubes of butter into as small pieces as possible. I know you can do this with a pastry blender or a fork. That's certainly possible. I simply enjoy doing this with my fingers. What you're going to do is basically form something very similar to a pie crust without adding the water. It would be a sweet pie crust, of course, with the sugar in it. And then we simply are going to be putting this on top of the shoe-fly pie and the apple raisin pie. And there you have it. That is the crumb topping that we're going to be using for our pies. We'll set that aside. It's now 12 o'clock. Guess what? We're going back to check the fire. Well, actually, if you can see, the flames are coming out. I think we're going to let it go for now. If the board up here starts to char, then we'll just have to put some water on. In fact, I think I'm going to put some on it right now. We'll just use the swab for that. I'll soak it, wring it out a little bit. We're going to put it right against the wood. There. I'm not sure how much good that will do in the long term, but I feel better about it. We'll let it burn for another 10 minutes or so. We're going to work on the apple pie filling. Then we'll come back and I think we'll do one more firing, one more batch of wood before we call it quits on the firing.